I'm losing my mind.
So Shane Dawson is losing his mind, self-admittedly.
Even process, I need a drink of water. I fucking can't process this. This is insane. This is insane. This is insane. This woman is a fucking, oh my God, oh my God.
Oh my God is right. A lot has happened. And I'm going to pull clips from Shane's losing his mind Instagram stream. I'm going to pull clips from Blaire's video, and I'm going to pull clips from Tati's video. I have mixed feelings on Tati's video, but I still do feel like it's worth mentioning because she provides very important information that I do believe to be true about Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star using blackmail against other YouTubers. This is not the first time that I've heard this.
Because I have dirt on everyone, and they know to keep their mouths shut.
From my understanding of things, what they do is they allegedly will get people to drink a lot, or they will get them high or something. And once they are intoxicated enough, Jeffree or Shane will get them to say something that they probably would never have said otherwise, something wildly inappropriate. They film it, and then they hold this piece of information over that other YouTuber's head for God knows how long, so that whenever they actually are committing crimes, those people won't speak out against them because they're so afraid of this blackmail being released. I made my last video on all of his accusations of sexual misconduct and sexualizing children. That, of course, really made me dislike him, and since that video, which was the other day, I have learned so much more dark information. It makes me feel so gross to even be on YouTube. Maybe that's the police coming for Shane. Anyway, like I was saying, it makes me feel gross to be on YouTube because there's so much going on behind the scenes, so much manipulation, so many lies that people are feeding their audience. Meanwhile, presenting themselves as heroes, as saviors, as people that are just so amazing, and they get all of these young people to support them and fans, and they get sponsorships from these big companies, and they just live this life of luxury while behind the scenes they're doing terrible shit and set it up so that no one can call them out for it. This weird blackmail situation with all these upper echelon YouTubers makes me feel sick to my stomach because so much stuff is going unreported and so many people are committing crimes and just getting away with it. But I do think shit's about to hit the fan because so much is coming out. I think at some point either Shane or Jeffree Star is just gonna let loose all this information that they have, and I'm worried, honestly. I feel bad for the people that they're going to expose for different things. Obviously there's a limit, right? Some things, if they expose people for doing crimes, unacceptable, you know, that's gonna have to play out how it does. But if they expose them for something that clearly they didn't mean to say because they got them drunk or messed up in some way and then they were baited into saying something that was filmed and used as blackmail, I hope that we can not go out of our way to cancel these people or put them through hell. And honestly, my advice to these people is to, you know, whatever it is, just come out with it on your own. You know, no one can have blackmail over you if you release that information yourself and take power into your own hands. And I know that's difficult, but if it were me, that's what I would do, because I would not let anybody pull strings on me like that. Like I said, I've heard a lot of things over the past couple of days. There aren't receipts that I can show you for a lot of these things, so again, my hope is those YouTubers that are holding back, do something about it, do something with the information that you have and take the power back into your own hands. Like, I have even heard things about Eugenia Cooney, like how a while back Shane was messaging another YouTuber and sending photos of Eugenia at her absolute thinnest, and then joking about how he couldn't wait for the first YouTuber death. Now this was a long time ago, but to send pictures of her that make her look unhealthy and say I can't wait for someone to die, that just goes to show you that there really is no care or concern for her. This is just an example, another of many examples of him going in and trying to get someone to be on his side so that he can build up an army of YouTubers that just think he's God's gift to the world. But like I showed in my last video, those clips of him making fun of her are pretty telling, you know? He doesn't care.
Someone commented in quotations on a picture, "Take the fucking picture, Becky, I can't breathe."
Well, you don't know struggle till you've taken a picture standing next to Eugenia fucking Cooney, bitch.
I don't know what that is or who that is.
That's my goal for like 2017, just skin and bones. If you want to do a YouTuber costume, this is you. Right.
Why? I don't get it. Because they're white.
I was gonna say. Kidding, love her.
Shane.
And clearly the tactic of getting people on his team so that when shit like this happens he has support has worked in her case. She tweeted him the other day saying, "Stay strong, Shane, and know that you are such an amazing person. You're truly one of the kindest people in the world, and you always deserve to do what's best for you and your happiness. I'm here for you forever and love you so much." So the beginning of my understanding to this situation started with Blaire. I will link the video that she made in the description below. Check it out. There's a lot of good information in that I'm obviously not going to have time to include in this video, so just check it out. But she talks about her interactions with Jeffree Star and how she really had never communicated with him until he, by the way, didn't follow her and wasn't tagged in some of these things that he saw on the internet, but still immediately responded to her whenever he thought she might say something about him online.
He then was in my DMs with a quickness to, in my opinion, put out a fire. He didn't want my video to be made, so he came in my DMs, requested a FaceTime.
So this started a long time ago whenever she was gonna make a video about his involvement with Davi Vanity, and she just mentioned his name in a tweet reply, didn't even at him, and within moments he was FaceTiming her and basically manipulated her into deciding to not make that video.
Basically, he manipulated me into not going forward with my video, said that a bunch of the things that were out there were fabricated, a lot of the receipts I planned on using were fabricated.
Then a few days later, he goes on to Chris Hansen and says all of the information that he told her not to talk about, which is extremely weird. But what gets even more strange is that he decided to, totally unrelated to the topic they were discussing, bring up James Charles. And this is a theme that you will see through this entire video and through all the examples that I present, is that both Shane and Jeffree Star go out of their way, in the past at least, they've gone out of their way to constantly bring up James Charles and damage his reputation behind the scenes to other YouTubers, I think honestly in hopes of them one day coming out with this information to damage James Charles's career.
It got to him asking me, "So what's your opinion of James Charles?" And keep in mind, a year ago, he called James Charles a predator and then refused to back it up with the receipts he promised he had.
Keep in mind, this is the first time they've ever spoken, and it was on FaceTime. And within that short amount of time of conversing with someone, he decided to not only bring up James Charles, but to basically show off that he had this voice memo that was very damning. And he just decides to throw that at somebody he just met on the phone.
He then provided me with receipts of a voice memo from a YouTuber who was allegedly sexually molested by James Charles. And it's credible. It's a YouTuber, it's credible.
I know that he has played this voice memo for other YouTubers who have yet to speak out. And he played this audio to Keemstar and FaZe Banks, almost like bragging as though he had this tea. It's not tea, it's a serious crime.
So if you want, we can pause and I can go in another room and play Banks what I have on my phone, and he can determine if he would have sent the same tweet.
And if you think it couldn't get any worse, it most definitely does. Jeffree then revealed to me someone else, a very famous YouTuber, who, yeah, I'll use the word raped someone.
And like, listen, this is something that I talked to her about. Imagine getting this information, right? And you're put in a very weird position because you can either keep quiet and not say anything out of either respect for the victim or feeling like it's not your place. I would be scared. I would be so uncomfortable that something that serious was just, the weight of that was just put on my shoulders without me asking. But I think it was done on purpose, not only to plant seeds of mistrust in her head about James Charles, which is, I guess, their MO, but I also think it was done in an attempt to get some kind of blackmail over Blaire. She goes off in this video and says, he doesn't have any dirt on me, there's nothing he can say about me, but imagine if, in the future, this information came out and then he could sit there and be like, yeah, well, this person knew, Blaire knew, and they didn't do anything, they didn't say anything. There we go, that's damaging to her reputation. So you're put in this horrible, messed up situation where honestly, she didn't have a choice but to make the video that she made. Otherwise, it would have in some messed up way created blackmail over her. It's so manipulative, it's so toxic, and it's scary because not only Blaire, but in Tati's video, they both expressed a fear of actually being in danger to the point where they needed to leave their house, they needed to be at a different location because they were worried something might happen to them.
A lot of people I know are afraid of Jeffree Star. Jeffree Star has a lot of people by the balls. Let's just be honest. A lot of people have Jeffree in their ear constantly in their DMs, trying to manipulate them or get them to run with certain stories. He's paying off people for silence. He's paying people to say certain things.
Tati said very similar things in her video.
And terrified of speaking up against the people that used, coerced, and manipulated me into uploading my video in May of last year.
If you don't know the video that she's talking about, I actually made an entire video on it a year ago when this stuff was going down, so feel free to check that out if you want. In regards to her video, like I said before, I have mixed feelings because there are things I want to point out in her video that I believe are true and important to hear. What I don't like, and I've honestly seen a lot of people calling her out for this, she was overly emotional. I mean, she cried way too much. She should have been more professional about it and pulled her shit together before making this video, because the amount of crying, it comes off as very fake. Even though I do think that this has caused a lot of emotional stress and turmoil in her life, girl, you gotta get your shit together when you're making a video like this, because it's serious. And whenever you're crying and you're constantly shifting blame, she takes very little accountability. I mean, at one point she says, yes, I'm a grown woman and I make my own choices, but a lot of the blame, actually almost all of the blame, was placed on Jeffree and Shane for manipulating her into making this video against James Charles, which, although they may have probably done a lot of manipulation, she still chose to make those videos. And making the video in the way that she did victimized herself too much, and I think that's why a lot of people have a problem with it, because it showed a pretty severe lack of accountability and emotion to the point of people questioning if she's full of shit or not.
None of my concerns became overwhelming until after I met Shane Dawson.
So she's saying she had all these concerns about James Charles, but that, you know, only after her conversations with Shane did she take any of it seriously.
I made it as a result of all of the poisonous lies that were fed to me by Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star. James Charles's Sugar Bear Hair sponsorship and all of the drama that had kicked up afterwards, that was just my breaking point.
See, this is, and I called her out in the video that I made last year. The Sugar Bear Hair thing, if you guys don't know, is a company that was a rival to her own, and James Charles, even though he was her friend, he accepted a sponsorship from this competitor. That's when she made her video, and she made a lot of her video about that. So all these other things that she was bringing up valid points for kind of got washed out because she made it all about her. But I do believe her that Shane and Jeffree were in her ear trying to make James Charles look like this horrible person, because that's the same thing they did to Blaire. That's the same thing that they seem to have done to so many people.
Yes, I'm a grown woman. I'm smart. I can usually spot deceit and manipulation a mile away, but my guard was down from being heartbroken, and I allowed myself to be worked by Shane, Jeffree, and others.
Yeah, that's not a great way to begin this video, because it immediately, even for me, throws up a red flag. I was sad and I allowed myself to be manipulated by these other people, and I just didn't, you know, I couldn't have helped myself. I did it, but it was their fault.
I only privated my video at the request of YouTube because YouTube said it was a bad look for their platform.
When I heard her say that, I was like, wait, what now? So the video that I made a commentary on last year was something that she privated eventually, but not because she thought it was unethical or that she, you know, didn't want that untruth to be out on the internet. She privated it because YouTube said it wasn't a good look? What? YouTube, are you doing this? Are you reaching out to creators and being like, hey, don't post this, it's not a good look for our platform? What are you gonna do now? What are y'all gonna do about all this stuff coming out about Shane, about all the stuff coming out about Jeffree? Are you gonna reach out to people and ask them to private their videos exposing these people? Because they're people that you have worked so hard to promote and are huge creators on your platform that you have still not done anything about? I saw somewhere earlier though that YouTube did take ads from Shane. I think YouTube should also issue a statement of some kind, because so much of this is going on and it's totally unacceptable.
James, I am so sorry that I allowed myself to be poisoned and weaponized against you. I'm sorry that I bought into any of their lies. Believing those lies and allowing myself to be gaslit into making that video is one of the biggest regrets of my life.
No, that's not what you say. You say, I'm sorry for doing the wrong thing. I am sorry for making that video. Not, I'm sorry that I was victimized. This is Tati, this is why people don't like your video. And I wish that they could have taken it seriously, because a lot of what you say needs to be heard.
But in the end, I failed. And instead, I allowed Shane and Jeffree to put a wedge between our friendship.
It shouldn't be that. It should be, instead, I failed and I'm sorry that I messed up. Every time she apologizes, she's like, I'm sorry that Shane and Jeffree made me do this. No, you did it. Come on now.
When Shane Dawson's first series with Jeffree happened, from all outside appearances, it looked like Jeffree was actually changing for the better. He was accepting responsibility for things that had happened in his past, and he was pledging to be a better person. I believed him again.
I call everything into question now. Like, did Shane make that series because him and Jeffree were in some kind of alliance and therefore he wanted to paint him in a good light to get people to forgive him for the clearly terrible shit he'd been doing? I've also heard that Shane and Jeffree have dirt on each other, and that, that could be a reason why he had to make that documentary. Not because he was trying to help a friend, but because he didn't want shit to come out on him. Maybe Jeffree is the one that leaked all this stuff about Shane and all this pedo stuff. Like, I don't know who to trust anymore at all.
So the vast majority of our relationship was primarily by FaceTime, telephone, or texts.
So she says they had hung out a few times in person, not for very long, and that, like she said, the majority of their communication was FaceTime, which aligns with Blaire.
Within minutes of me posting this story, or I didn't even tag him, just like before, he was FaceTiming me.
He just goes straight into FaceTiming people or leaving voice memos, which both Shane and Jeffree have been doing, apparently. From what I have heard, that's what they do when they have a sense that someone is going to make a video about them. They immediately call and try to talk them out of what they're about to do, because that's just how they work. They manipulate and they try to change people's minds about giving out information that could hurt them.
He would frequently comment about how much dirt he held on other brand owners and members of our YouTube community. I believe that he actually held blackmail material on many people and was capable of destroying the entire community.
This, I believe, is true. As much as you want to hate on her video, which I agree with a lot of the complaints about her video, that I know is true, and I have heard from more than one person at this point.
My opinion, he's gonna go off, guys, and I don't think I don't think he will hold back, and I think we need to be prepared.
I agree. I think that all of this is going to reach a boiling point where all the blackmail that they have is just going to be out there, and we're going to have to be ready for it. And I think we should keep in mind that they do set people up for failure. They get them drunk or put them in whatever compromising situation to get things from them that they would never have done otherwise. They record it and they hold it over their head. I think especially in this situation, we do need to be understanding and forgiving of those people, because I want them to feel like they can come out with their own information to take that blackmail away from Shane, to take it away from Jeffree, so that whatever those two have been doing can actually be exposed, because I think they have hurt people and they could hurt people, and the only way to prevent that is to get the details, to get the evidence, and the only way to do that is for them to feel comfortable speaking out. So we have to be understanding so that we can move forward with all of this.
To understand that we need to forgive the people that he is holding hostage with veiled threats of exposure. We need to be prepared to forgive them.
I agree. I'm worried. I'm honestly scared about what's gonna happen.
Otherwise, this won't stop. So prepare to not cancel everyone and give them a chance. It's not right. It is not right to try to trap people into saying things that they wouldn't otherwise say. It's not right.
These next few weeks are gonna be a shit show.
I initially dismissed it as jealousy because James Charles's career was on a rocket ship at the time. But as the weeks went by, every time I saw or spoke with Jeffree, it seemed to me that James was all he wanted to talk about.
I mean, that also kind of goes along with what Blaire was saying, how, not long into their conversation, which by the way was the first conversation they ever had, he was just ready to give her this voice memo with somebody he just met. That seems weird. So then Jeffree involves Shane by reaching out to Tati, saying they're gonna work on some kind of docuseries that they want her to be a part of. Shane reaches out to Tati, they become friendly. He blows a bunch of smoke up her ass about how she's his favorite beauty YouTuber and he wants to come over and she can help him with makeup, and he just sends her all these compliments to make her feel comfortable.
Why would Shane sit in my home and spend so many hours telling me these horrific allegations if they were not true?
She's basically saying, Shane is kind of known as the king of making documentaries on YouTube. I mean, documentaries, they're all just ridiculous music and facial expressions and everything's blown out of proportion. But she was saying that, you know, he is somebody that the internet looks to be a truth teller, so why would he? Why would he lie to her?
Shane said that James Charles was a monster and that James Charles was hurting minors. Shane said he was planning to interview victims for the docuseries. He told me that something needed to be done to stop him from hurting more people.
I don't know if that's true. I honestly, it sounds like projection. Now that all these things have come out about Shane, it definitely feels like projection. But maybe this is true too. I don't know.
Over the course of the next few weeks, he and Jeffree fed me so much information that I felt sick. Almost every day, there was more information and new allegations.
That probably describes how the next few weeks are going to be on YouTube. It's just going to be new shit all the time.
Shane Dawson didn't just know about my Bye Sister video. He offered to help edit it. He even offered to design the thumbnail and help title it.
This to me is super shady. The video that she made about James Charles was so encouraged by Shane. Like, too much. Like, imagine if I constantly talked negatively about a person to a friend, and then that friend decides to maybe say something about this person that I have been feeding them toxicity about for a long time, and then I'm like, yes, you should, I'll help you, I'll edit it, I'll film it, I'll make the thumbnail. Like, come on now. That's weird.
I struggled with the decision to film my video for days. The night before I did film, Jeffree sent me what he claimed was an audio file from an alleged victim and told me to listen to the pain in their voice.
This is the same shit he did to Blaire. The same audio message. I don't understand this friggin' audio message. I wonder how many people have heard it. I know multiple people have heard it. So yeah, I do believe her. I do believe that this conversation is something that was had.
The audio was clearly a small portion of a larger conversation. It wasn't enough for me to contact the authorities. It was enough to scare me.
So this is confusing to me for a few reasons, and feel free to leave a comment, speculate, let me know what your thoughts are on this, and I'm sure it eventually will come out. But she, in this video, apologized to James Charles. She said a lot of very nice things about James Charles. And then this audio message that apparently Jeffree has about James Charles is something that she said was a small part of a larger conversation. Meaning that maybe it was, I feel like the implication there is that it was taken out of context, but Blaire said in her video that she thinks that this is real, that this is real information, that it is valid, and that confuses me because if it is, then why would Tati be defending him? Maybe I mean, of course, there's gotta be stuff that I don't know because that does not line up, so I don't know. That makes me question Tati a lot. Like, are you trying to defend James even though you know something that he did was terrible? Like I said, this part confuses me. So at the beginning of this video, I started off by showing a clip of Shane seemingly just losing his goddamn mind, and it was him listening to her video when it was posted. And I'm just gonna play this next clip.
Keep in mind that up until this point, I didn't even know I was making a video. So how is it that so many editorial outlets knew that something was coming before I had even made a decision to film?
Keep playing it. Keep playing it.
I didn't even know I was making a video. So how is it that so many editorial outlets knew that something was coming before I had...
Because you message drama channels! Oh my god. Oh my god.
Yeah, so Shane is freaking out, but I actually understand why, because this clip is easily disproven by her previous video where she self-admittedly gave the story to 2 different drama channels. So of course they're gonna have the story before the video is posted.
To be in full disclosure, I have spoken with 2 drama channels that reached out, and one of them is Here for the Tea, the other is Tea Spill. They're both making videos.
That's literally the only thing I'm going to agree with on Shane for this entire video, but I did want to say that to be completely fair and balanced. I don't believe Tati. I don't believe Shane. I don't know who to believe at this point. The whole thing is just so damn confusing.
Oh my god.
My video for days. The night before I did film, Jeffree sent me what he claimed was an audio file from an alleged victim and told me to listen to the pain in their voice. The audio was clearly a small portion of the conversation. It wasn't enough for me to contact the authorities. It was enough to scare me.
Well, then why would you make a video on the matter claiming these allegations?
Because she...
So that's Rylan in the background saying, okay, well, if you didn't have enough information to go to the authorities, then why are you sitting here making a YouTube video about it? And my response to that is because the information is out there. She doesn't have it, but it is out there.
Because she is a fucking... I can't. I don't want to say mean things about people. This is insane. This is insane. This person literally... Oh my God. Okay, sorry, keep pressing play. I need to get through this video so I can fucking... Oh my God.
As a victim of abuse myself, I know how terrifying it is to think of facing public humiliation and legal proceedings.
And this next part is probably the worst part of Shane's stream because she says that she's a victim of abuse, which he has claimed to be himself, and he mocks it, he scoffs at it.
As a victim of abuse myself,
Oh my God.
Oh my God, shut up. He's about to say shut up. Like, come on. Really? You're gonna roll your eyes at somebody saying that, Shane?
Oh my God. You are so manipulative.
think of facing public.
You're fake crying. You are fake crying. You are fake crying. That is not real. Oh my God.
So, God damn. She's talking about being a victim of abuse. And all you can do is roll your eyes at it and say she's being fake. That, I mean, if you want to call her out on being fake, that is not the time, Shane. And saying that it's manipulative, are you kidding me? You yourself have said that many times to garner sympathy. You did it in your apology video, and you're gonna call her fake and manipulative? Are you just gonna say that that was manipulative too? Let's be fair. If you're gonna call her talking about her problems and struggles in life manipulative, then what are you doing?
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. I was molested. I have been, oh my God. That is not.
And I made no mention of it in my video.
Oh my God.
Get off.
So, I don't know if you guys caught that, but Rylan in the background was telling him to end the stream. He's like, get off.
Get off.
Yeah, so Rylan made him end the stream and he did.
Get off.
The night before posting my video by sister,
Oh my God.
I texted Shane sharing my concerns for James Charles, that he was out of the country on the high floor of a hotel and I was afraid for him.
And he also went off on Twitter saying, Tati Westbrook, a master class in manipulation, the only was to save her reputation was to side with the person she tried to ruin. Make no mistake, this 40-year-old woman, why does her age matter? 40-year-old woman chose to post a video on her own accord. I do agree with that, but that doesn't mean she wasn't manipulated in some way. But yes, she does deserve to take responsibility. She riled up Shane before doing so to have one of the biggest creators backing her in the chance this all backfired. I don't know who to fucking believe. Shane very well would have posted a video exposing James had he felt so inclined. Well, why wouldn't he feel inclined if he knew this information? Also to Jeffree, same question. No receipts because she didn't want to expose the countless times she told Shane that she was a big girl doing this only for herself. Hope you enjoy those sold out vitamins that made you millions in minutes from Shane's support, you two-faced liar. Honestly, I feel like the important part of this is getting lost in the bullshit drama. The important part is that there is information out there of crimes that were committed. People are not speaking about those crimes that were committed because blackmail is being held over them by Shane and Jeffree. That much I know is true of her video. That much I know is true of Blaire's video.
And Jeffree proceeds to tell me, James will never attack me because I have this on him. I have shit on everyone. Which he has said publicly before. I have shit on everyone.
Because I have dirt on everyone, and they know to keep their mouths shut.
So this is not something that I want to get lost in all the bullshit drama that is going on right now, because that, I think, is the core of what we should be focusing on.
I felt that I was a liability to them and that I knew too much. So I put all of my text messages and other files on a hard drive and told a few people that I was afraid for my life.
I also believe this. A lot of what Blaire said is being backed exactly by what she's saying in this video.
And I just don't want to be one of those people anymore that is scared to speak against Jeffree f***ing Star. Done. See you guys in the next video. Oh, and if my body's found dead in a ditch somewhere, it's Jeffree Star.
Last fall I became so afraid to stay in my LA home, that I bulk filmed a lot of videos and I left town in October to get away from it all.
I mean, I remember being worried when Blaire posted her video and I reached out and I was like, hey, if you need a place to stay, if you don't feel safe, you can stay with me. But honestly, at this point, I've spoken about it so much that maybe here isn't the best place for her either. I know it's hard for people to accept that Shane isn't who you thought he was. I even struggled a year ago when I went through all the Eugenia drama to process how he could do what he did, how he could never once reach out to me to ask about what was going on when he knew my involvement, never once reaching out to me after I posted my video, after I tweeted about Katie, after I put out all this information that should have set red flags up for any normal person. He never cared enough to look into that. He just made his video, he got his views, he got his pats on the back for being a hero, and he moved the fuck on and let her health get to where it is now. My view of him was completely shattered by that. And over the last year, I've had to watch people fawning over him, friends saying that he was an amazing person, promoting him, promoting his merch and all of these things, and that was a tough pill for me to swallow because I'm not going to tell anybody to choose between friends. I'm not going to be that kind of person, and I tried to just remove myself and not bring it up, you know, but it's hard because that was something that really affected me, and I had my closest friends promoting Shane. But I understand why that happened, because it is difficult when you care about someone, when you look up to someone and you just think that they can do no wrong because they're such a good person that maybe did so much to help you. And it's just hard to process this type of thing. I get it. And I get that a lot of you watching right now are going through the same thing and you don't want to believe it. I still see a lot of comments supporting him, even supporting Jeffree, but I do hope that over time you open your eyes and realize that sometimes people aren't who you think they are. Even if they seem amazing, they could be doing terrible things, and you can't just close your mind off to that because you like somebody. You can't, because that allows them to continue hurting people. The blackmail, the manipulation, all of the ugliness that is going on right now on YouTube makes me embarrassed to be on this platform. What I don't even know what I'm doing on this platform. I second guess being here, but at the same time, I think that there needs to be more people that aren't fucking doing that shit on the platform. I can't explain to you how discouraging it is, how depressing it is, how frustrating it is to see all this happen and all the people it's affecting. I'm worried about what's going to happen in the future. I hope whatever information comes out does good, and that's all I can say. And I hope people are understanding where they need to be and critical where they need to be.
I have dirt on everyone, and they know to keep their mouths shut.
And I hope these people who think they're running the game get exactly what they deserve. Anyway, I should go. Please leave your thoughts in the comments below. I am very curious to hear your opinions on this. If you want to share this information, please post this video around. I'd love to hear other people's opinions that maybe haven't seen my channel before. If you're new, please subscribe. I try to post videos of my thoughts on important topics like this as often as I can, even though it can be very mentally draining. So hopefully I can post some fun things in the future, because if I keep going at this rate, I'm gonna burn out. So thank you to those of you supporting me. Thank you to those of you who are subscribing, and all the comments of support and encouragement are very much appreciated. And hopefully, like I said, I can post some fun stuff in the future, because I'm sure this is getting to you also. Once again, I hope all of you are staying safe and trying to stay sane, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.